Every once in a while there are days like this. Days when one has to take a step back and take it all in for a moment. Last Sunday was one of these days. And the previous two Grand Prix Sundays as well. For these past 3 races now, Formula 1 has produced action that seemed all but impossible as early as mid-June. With this generation of cars, regulations, stewardship, us fans, we were left spending more and more time reminiscing about the good old days, whenever those may have been. And now, here we are. From the Red Bull Ring to Hockenheim Ring via Silverstone, we've had quite possibly the most spectacular hat-trick of fantastic races in the sport's history. Definitely the best of the last 10 years. France and Canada seem so far away right now that they might as well have happened in another season. And to me, that's part of the beauty of Formula 1. The sport can drag us through the dullest of proceedings and then thrill us with once-in-a-generation on-track action. Perhaps I'm taking too much out of these races. Perhaps I'm wrong. Some of you might agree, some not. And that's again the beauty of it all. We're different. The thing that we all share is a love for Formula 1. And that's a great thing. So with my previous predictions in tatters, thanks to the surprisingly brilliant past Grand Prix, here we are. I'm Chip with the pre-2019 Formula 1 Hungarian Grand Prix video. Having first popped up in 1986 as the first Formula 1 event held behind the Iron Curtain, the Hungarian Grand Prix at the Hungaroring has been a fixture on the F1 calendar every year since. Jenson Button once famously compared the 4.3 kilometers track with a bulked up go-kart circuit. You can't really argue with that. With only one proper straight, most of the circuit consists of slow and medium fast corners. Think Monaco without the barriers. This Sunday the drivers will complete 70 laps round the twisty piece of asphalt for a total racing distance of 306 kilometers. With its multitude of slow corners and therefore many short acceleration zones, the tires will be subjected to quite high levels of both lateral and longitudinal forces. The asphalt is both reasonably abrasive and grippy with a very pronounced track evolution. As for the downforce, again, think Monaco. Quite aggressive aero packages are required because, there is time to be found around all those corners. On the tires front, just like in Germany, Pirelli nominated the C2, C3 and C4 compounds, which, in theory, this should keep open both a one-stop strategy and a two-stopper. As for the weather, perhaps the biggest hero of Hockenheim, again, we're looking at some showers, but not on race day, only on Friday and Saturday. Now, how about some talking points ahead of the race? Number 1, Red Bull on a roll, or should that actually be Verstappen? Apart from the almost forgotten about horrible start, what a race for the Dutchman in Hockenheim. In fact, scratch that. What a trio of races for him. 2 incredible victories, some thrilling on-track battles, a maturity that few could match on track at least, and speed for days. Now, I'm not saying he did it all by himself. In less than 2 years, Honda has produced quite a turnaround. The Red Bull team works at world record-setting standards, and compared to his teammate, Max's performances seem even more striking. In Hungary, at a track that suits their package, Red Bull and Verstappen should be at least podium contenders. Number 2, Mercedes to strike back. Sharply, they could not have had a more disastrous home race, even if they tried. One small but extremely costly mistake for Bottas, a sick and off-form Hamilton, a very public pit blunder, and a strategy team that got it a tad worse than the main competition. Add in the fact that Netflix was filming behind the scenes at Mercedes as well last weekend, and we have a very public nightmare at the Silver Arrows. Time to strike back, I think. And I know it sounds odd. They have won 9 out of 11 races so far this year, and does anyone really miss them at the top of the podium? No, of course not, but look at their performance in Germany. I mean, let's be fair here. This is a team that has very much one hand on both titles this year. And for them to perform as they did in Germany at their home race, their sponsored event, it was almost incomprehensibly embarrassing. Also, get well soon, Lewis. Number 3, the complete package at Racing Point. The second part of the B-spec car of the Pink Panthers is due to arrive in Hungary, complementing the first major batch of upgrades that made their debut in Germany. Now, due to the weather, it was almost impossible, from the outside at least, to say how much of those upgrades really worked. But after Stroll ended up P4 in the race with a superb strategy, at least the team is on a high right now and they can build up from there. Number 4, busy times at Alfa Romeo. From one midfield team to another, there are quite a few things going on at the moment at the former Sauber squad. Bit controversially, both Raikkonen and Giovinazzi were handed 30 seconds penalties post-race in Germany for receiving too much help driving the cars off the line. Not content with the stewards' decision, the team will appeal the penalties, and so the German GP of 2019 could not yet be over and done with. In other news, Alfa are set to make some internal adjustments at their technical team after chief designer Simone Resta rejoined Ferrari earlier in July. Finally, number 5, some under pressure drivers. Gasly, Perez, Grosjean, Magnussen and Hülkenberg, just to name a few. Yep, these drivers are under fire. Not only them, obviously, the very nature of F1 means that every single mistake by a driver is very public and potentially very costly. But for varying reasons, these guys need to get their act together swiftly. Red Bull are adamant that Gasly is safe for the whole year, but they are not saying a word about 2020 and beyond. Perez might be ousted by the very team he helped save last year when he pushed it into administration. His Mexican backers have deep pockets, but not Lawrence Stroll levels of deep, so money is no longer an issue at the team. And with Ocon eager to return to Formula 1 next year, Perez might just be the one to make way. Hülkenberg, what can be said really? He's a tremendous driver, but every time half a chance for a strong finish presents itself, Nico drops the ball. He's not in immediate danger like others, but one has to ask, how much longer can Renault tolerate such mistakes? As for the two Haas drivers, I can't be bothered, really. At this stage, both of them are good at best. But in a field that very good is now the average. Grosjean is the most under pressure driver at the moment. And for good reason. Crashes, mistakes, attitude. All in all, he's just one big package of all the wrong things. So if he's out of Formula 1 next year, I won't miss him. Nor will his teammate, in fact. Now, drinking game for this Sunday. During the race, take 1 sip for every pit stop and overtake, 2 sips for every accident / crash / safety car, and down your drink if Verstappen goes 2 for 2 and takes the big W. Finally, my predictions for the Hungarian GP. Pole position, Valtteri Bottas. Fastest lap of the race, Max Verstappen. P10 to P5 at the end of the race. Perez, Hülkenberg, Albon, Norris, Gasly and Leclerc. P4 Sebastian Vettel, P3 Lewis Hamilton, P2 Max Verstappen, and the winner from pole position Valtteri Bottas. And that's it for this week and indeed this half and a bit of the season. Thanks so much for watching. Do you agree, do you disagree with my picks? Please let me know in the comments. Also, any other F1 related question you might have, please ask away. I'll be more than happy to try and answer it for you. Drop a like if you think I've earned it, maybe hit the subscribe button as well, and please make sure to share this video with a racing fan. As always, I've been Chip. You can find me on Twitter at chip_DGS and on facebook.com/digitalgrandstand. Now, before I go, I would like to wish you all a very happy F1 summer break. I know it's not ideal that it's happening, but yeah, perhaps it is a good time to enjoy the time off and spend as much time as possible with friends and family. After all, that's what all the drivers, all the F1 personnel will be doing, so yeah, make sure you do that as well, because yeah, these are important factors in all of our lives. And before you know it, I will see you again with the next video. In the meantime, enjoy the Hungarian Grand Prix, enjoy the F1 summer break. Cheers. Has been a fixture on the F1 calendar slow accelerations also. Does anyone really miss them as the top of the podium? They are the top of the podium. No, they're not. They're just the silver arrows. Shut up, Chip.